guys, I'm going to show you just a little short clip about how I might introduce hobbles to a mule, and a couple things I do. Those of you that have been to classes and clinics, you've probably seen me work with a mule, teaching it to lead by foot. I'm going to show you just a quick little piece of that. Now this is Rihanna. She kind of is used to these things, but I'm going to come up closer, Sky, so they can see this. But I'm going to put a little bowline knot, or there's lots of versions of bowlines, but I'm going to put a little version of it around her hoof. And on the end of the lead rope here, I'm going to work with getting her to kind of give to this foot. And you would do this to all 4 feet if you would like to, but especially to the front feet. And I'll just put a little pressure on the foot, and if I need help, now you can apply it to the lead rope, and you just kind of get her to step there a little bit. And I want her to not be worried about this. A lot of mules, they feel a little pressure on a foot like this, and they might get troubled by it. So I would teach my mule to lead by a foot, and I'd prefer to teach him to lead by all 4 feet. And you know, this not only get him prepared to take a hobble, but it's getting them ready in case you're out riding and maybe you get hung up in some fence. Or I've even seen a lot of mules freak out if they get into a bunch of deadfall and they kind of feel trapped around their feet and they panic a little bit. So teach them to lead by a foot would be good. In fact, I do this on even mules that are never even halter broke. Of course, if it wasn't halter broke, I'd have to rope the foot, and I'd use my lariat rope for that. But that's a way that I teach my mules to lead if they're real wild. But for this case, and most of your mules that imagine most people watching this video are going to be kind of like this, where you might just want to teach your mule not to panic. So that's how I teach them to lead by a foot. I just put a little pressure. I got my lead rope here attached to the halter. If she didn't respond to that, I could use my lead rope, but I just kind of wait. And I just want her to give. I'm not trying to pull her foot out from under her. Don't make that mistake. I see that pretty often in the clinics. Folks are trying to pull that foot out from under them. Just put some pressure on, let them figure it out. Once I kind of got them going good, leading by these front feet, and they're not panicking, I'll put some hobbles on. Now, there's lots of ways to introduce this, but this is the way I like to introduce it, so these mules don't have a bad wreck or have a bad experience. I like figure 8 hobbles. You can use whatever type you like, but I'll put them on here. And instead of just turning her loose, I'm going to lead her with them for a little bit. You can put them up on the cannon bone or down on the pastern, it doesn't matter. A lot of times you put them up here on the cannon bone, and if they're a little loose, they end up there on the pastern anyways. A lot of folks will just turn them loose now after they got some hobbles on, but I might lead them around a little bit. And usually I'll take them on a corner like this. I'll take them to the side. I want her just to feel those hobbles, take little steps like that. I'm not trying to get her to hop around with them. She'll figure it out on her own, but I'll just let her kind of fiddle around and figure this out. I want her to learn how to move in this. A lot of times if you just turn them loose, they got hobbles on like this. I've seen a lot of mules go tearing off through the pasture and busting through trees. I've seen them run into walls. I've seen them run through panels. If you can kind of keep a hold of them for a little bit and take it easy, just take your time, you'll avoid those wrecks, and they won't be so worried about things. If she was to get kind of worried, I might just take her on a corner and I kind of try to help her stay in one spot a little bit and not get too worried about it. After she felt comfortable about this point, she's kind of not too worried about it, then you could take off your halter and let her figure it out. If you hobble a mule, I highly recommend you do not leave your halter on. I've seen a lot of mules, as they take a jump, get their hoofs stuck up in your rope halter or whatever, and that can be a real wreck, and they can tear something up in their muscles, or they can, you know, I mean, the least thing is they'd break your halter, but the mule's health is pretty important to me, so I kind of go about it that way. If you guys have questions, you can post in the comments or whatever, but that's kind of how I go about getting them used to hobbles. And that's the short, sweet version. We talk about all these things extensively in the clinics. But thanks for watching. We'll see you.